talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause the times is the man, the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to the man,
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here. Today is the 18th of August 2015. So right here, that's our moon sign for today, Libra. Our sun sign is in Leo. So let's take a look at what we are dealing with here. Libra, Tarot card of Justice, Strength, Tarot card of Leo. So we got a fire sign and an air sign. So just think how fire and air work in life. Okay, they can work really nice together. The warmth from the fire can heat the air. It can be nice, or it can get really too hot. If we translate it into what they mean, fire is ideas. There can be a lot of ideas, and the ideas can be overwhelming for what needs to be expressed, the words and actions. Or the fire cannot be enough, and then the words and actions are affected in a different way. Or there could be so many words and actions that they get in the way of all of the ideas. So if we apply it like that, and we just think air and fire, ideas, and the way we express them, we want to have a nice, good flow, so we're able to express what comes through us. If there's too much, we become overwhelmed one way or the other. So that's what it's about. Just learning how to use the energy around us to our advantage. All right, there is an aspect to look at here, and that is an aspect that will take place this evening. The aspect for today we see right here, which began at 3:44 a.m., is between Mars and Libra. So Mars is giving us that dose of energy into the whole mix, added energy. As if there's not enough fire already, we're getting that little extra dose, but it's a good positive thing to charge us up as we move forward. Refuel our passions and our desires to do things. Then at 6:30 p.m. tonight, we have a square with Pluto and Libra. So Libra karmic balance, learning to balance out things in our lives. And then we have this lesson of deep transformation that occurs along with that. So we'll just see how the day unfolds. Remember, we're dealing with fire, which is ideas, and air, which is how we express those ideas. And Libra is telling us find the most balanced way possible, because the idea and the expression of the ideas with Libra is looking to find balance. Okay, look at the wheel here just to see everything. Here's our sun sign, our moon sign. See where they all are. On the Jewish calendar, today is 3 Elul. 3 Elul is the name of the day and the month. The daily thought is called balance, right in sync with what we are talking about. Balance. If it is to be lived with purpose, life is to be a delicate balancing act of body and soul, heaven and earth. It requires 2 feet firmly upon the ground and a clear head high up in the air. Only then are you the master. In a rush, you are not in control of your world. The world is in control of you. Place your foot gently on the brakes. Slow down. Switch gears from madness to mind. Reclaim your mastery. Makes good sense. The moon's a waxing moon, which means we're headed up to the full moon again. 14% of the way there. Space weather, solar wind currently at 452.3 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is in the quiet range between 2 and a 4. So we have the energy around this is quiet to unsettled. Big coronal hole. Look at how large this one is up on top of the sun here. We will be feeling the effect from that as it turns closer to the Earth, because that is quite large. It says around the 20th to the 21st. M-class flare possibility is 1%. X-class is 1. Geomagnetic storm activity in the mid-latitudes is hanging at about 35%. 25% as well, dropping down. High latitudes dropping down as well from 60 to 45. So things are subsiding in the universe, around us, and up in the sky tonight. Tuesday the 18th, as night descends, look left of the moon for Spica, very high above the moon, shines brighter Arcturus. The red long period variable star Chi Cygni is still around at maximum light. As of August 14th, it was magnitude 4 to 7.7. Okay, so things have progressed one day on from here. So the moon's going to be out here somewhere. Look up here, Spica. Alright, very good. So there you go. That is our cosmic weather. Gets us started with what's happening for today. UFO news is up next. Let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Alright, Dirk. Thank you very much. First sighting comes to us from a volcano in Ecuador. Ecuador volcano. Says this guy is so busy trying to spread his message doesn't even notice the UFO buzzing around. The UFO pops out of the clouds and takes a look around before hiding back inside the plume of smoke. UFOs are often entering and exiting volcanoes. Long ago, when aliens came to try to pick a location for their base that would be inaccessible to humans, this way they could come and go as they please. Okay, no, with digital cameras, live cameras are the most volcanoes in the world catching these. Okay, so what he's saying here is there are these live webcams around, and that's how these things are being captured. And if we take a look at the video here, we can see a little bit of what's going on here. Okay, and 2-minute 20-second video, and as we go through here you can see the little UFO flying in and out. Down here is where it occurs. Alright, so it's best to enlarge this thing that way you can really see it better. Okie doke, moving on from there, so you can check out that on your own. Humanoid flying over Los Angeles, August 9th. There's the object in question. Certainly looks humanoid. Arms, legs, head, body. Best evidence we have seen and captured yet of the humanoid-shaped anomalies that we have been seeing, as it was captured on 3 cameras with dozens of eyewitnesses to attest. Okay. There's very interesting. Oh, very, very interesting. What do you think that is? Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. So what do you think this is? I don't know, but let's move on. The video is available for you. Here is up by the sun. And we have a giant sphere, or multiple spheres up by the sun. 3 minute, second, and 1 second video. I'm just going to zip through. See all these things up here. Very interesting what those are. Look like little ants crawling around the sun. I have not seen anything like that before. Have you? It's pretty weird. Alright, moving on. Rare footage of an astronaut, Deke Slayton, talking about his UFO sighting in 1951. Deke Slayton was one of the original NASA Mercury 7 astronauts. He served as a NASA Director of Flight Crew Operations and as the docking module pilot of the Apollo Soyuz test project. In 1951, Slayton had an extraordinary aerial experience that he described in his autobiography. I realized that I wasn't closing on that son of a bitch. AP-51 at that time would cruise at 280 miles an hour. But the thing that just kept going and climbing at that time, at about a 40-degree climb, I kept trying to follow it, but he just left me behind and flat disappeared. The guys on the ground tracked it with a theodolite, and they computed the speed at about 4,000 miles an hour. It's a nice, good interview by him. If you just want to check it out, hear what he has to say about the experience. I'm going to move on. The link's available for you to check out. And the last one here is a good question. Are we trying to weaponize space through a secret space program? Are we trying to weaponize space through a secret space program? Well, many conspiracy theorists and researchers and revisionists and alternative histories have confirmed a secret space program. Little has been said in the major media outlets about this topic. That is until this week. Scientific American and Reuters both published articles that suggest not only a secret space program, but also a realization that war in space is inevitable. However, there are very few discuss this matter from a biblical standpoint, and that is something I hope to do in a future documentary on the subject of the secret space program from the view of biblical prophecy. Right? Very interesting indeed. We certainly know there's going to be activity taking place up in space, certainly part of the program that we've heard about and we're aware of, so we'll just keep watching. Alright, that's our UFO news for today. I'm going to jump away for a bit and I'll be back. We'll continue on. Stay tuned. This is Great Spirit.
Nothing you can do will stop it.
back. The song was called Great Spirit. Great Spirit. All right. Next up, found a couple of good articles here we're going to look at before we continue on with the Krybalion. This first one right here, it's very interesting. Hemp-based batteries could change the way we store energy forever. As hemp makes a comeback in the U.S. after a decade-long ban on its cultivation, scientists are reporting that fibers made from the plant can pack as much energy and power as graphene, long touted as the model material for supercapacitors. They're presenting their research, which a Canadian startup company is working on scaling up, at the 248th National Meeting and Exposition of the American Chemical Society, otherwise known as ACS, which is the world's largest scientific society. Although hemp, cannabis sativa, and marijuana, cannabis sativa variable indica, come from similar species of plant, they are very different, and confusion has been caused by deliberate misinformation with far-reaching effects on socioeconomics as well as environmental matters. Hemp is the most universally useful plant we have at our disposal. The history of mankind's use of hemp can be traced way back in time to between 5,000 and 7,000 BC. Industrial hemp and hemp seed could transform the economy of the world states into a positive and beneficial way, and therefore should be exploited to its full potential, especially relating to energy storage. Dr. Mitten, PhD, explains that supercapacitors are energy storage devices that have huge potential to transform the way future electronics are powered. Unlike today's rechargeable batteries, which sip up energy over several hours, supercapacitors can charge and discharge within seconds, but they normally can't store nearly as much energy as batteries, an important property known as energy density. One approach researchers are taking to boost supercapacitors' energy density is to design better electrodes. Mitland's team has figured out how to make them from certain hemp fibers, and they can hold as much energy as the current top contender, graphene. It says our devices' electrochemical performance is on par with or better than graphene-based devices, Mitland says. The key advantage is that our electrodes are made from bio-waste using a simple process and therefore are much cheaper than graphene. The race towards the ideal supercapacitor has largely focused on graphene, a strong, light material made of atom-thick layers of carbon, which when stacked can be made into electrodes. Scientists are investigating how they can take advantage of graphene's unique properties to build better solar cells, water filtration systems, touchscreen technology, as well as batteries and supercapacitors. The problem is it's expensive. Mitland's group decided to see if they could make graphene-like carbons from hemp-based fibers. The fibers come from the inner bark of the plant and are often discarded from Canada's fast-growing industries that use hemp for clothing, construction materials, and other products. The U.S. could soon become another supplier of bast. It now allows cultivation of hemp, which, unlike its close cousin, does not induce highs. Okay, a lot more to the article talking about the benefits of hemp, but it is certainly a product that, when utilized, can provide many, many opportunities, and I think that's something that we really need to take a look at here when it comes for alternative sources of energies and stuff. All right, let's take a look here at this Mayan Dreamspell calendar. Here's an article about it. What I didn't show you today was the particular day. Today is the 7 Earth. 7 Earth. The phrase is, I channel in order to evolve inspiring synchronicity. I steal the matrix of navigation with the resonant tone of attunement. I am guided by the power of universal water. And under Vulcan, we could see its placement right here. Now, I want you to remember this because the reason we're looking at this is we're looking at ways in which energy is charted. Okay? That's the whole idea of the Mayan calendar. The Mayan calendar is about showing us energy and how it is charted. However, we've misunderstood that idea, and so we've thought that it's meant other things as well. And so people have been confused by that. They say, well, December 21st came and went and nothing happened. But things didn't necessarily happen on a physical level. But remember, we've got the fire, the water, the air, all these other levels that are existing beyond the physical. And so there was activities that occurred in those levels. That is why we look at these energies, to understand the subtler levels of what's going on. Because if we just focus on the physical, we're never going to get where we need to get in our understanding. Now, this is an article I found that relates directly to the Mayan calendar. It says the end of the world postponed. Mayan scholars, and this was going back to December 21st, 2012, Mayan scholars have updated their doomsday prophecy. The world will end in 2015, not 2012. Oops, they made a mistake. But there's good news for those who were fearing the 2012 Mayan apocalypse. They counted wrong. The world is not going to end in December 2012. Instead, it's going to end on September 3rd, 2015. Update your daily planners. A new critique, published as a chapter in the new textbook Calendars and Years, Astronomy and Time in the Ancient and Medieval World. It argues that the accepted conversions of dates from Mayan to the modern calendar are off. This, coupled with a new book, We Are All Going to Die in 2015 by Fritz Barnkopf, are rewriting the Mayan Doomsday Playbook that has been popularized in our culture over the last 10 years. The problem was discovered when researchers realized that the Mayan calendar was converted to today's Gregorian calendar using an erroneous calculation called the GMT constant, named for the last initials of the three early Mayanist researchers. But the GMT constant is completely bogus. The Mayan researchers of the past 20 years put too much stock in the GMT, said Mayan expert Robert Wanamaker. They probably were chewing on too many cocoa leaves. The fact is that the GMT constant is 2 years, 271 days off. We've proven that conclusively here at the Scripps Institute. The apocalypse is now delayed. This is a stunning blow to all the merchandisers that were seeking to capitalize on the end of the world prophecy before the world ends. Man, I was selling all sorts of 2012 doomsday paraphernalia. Now I've got to go back and make it all again for 2015. It's a real drag, says 2012 fanatic Judd Barkley. Hollywood is jumping right on the 2015 bandwagon. Producers are lining up to make the 2012 sequel 2015. It's great for us, said producer Tracy Barnum. I hope that they extended it again a few years so we can keep this franchise going. Not likely. Mayan researchers are unanimous on the end of the world data. The world will disappear in 2015. You might want to plan accordingly. Bad news, we're all going to die. Good news, we got 3 more years. Woohoo. Okay. So, take it for what it is. I mean, this could be a joke article. It's in the here Weekly World News is where it was. It's right next to the story of Bat Boy. So, here it said Facebook will end on May 13, 2013. We know that didn't happen. So these are some of the things that are there. But nonetheless, I just thought this was quite interesting because, again, it's another take on the calendar trying to show dates of things that are going to be happening in the physical world. But remember, this calendar here, this Vulcan right here, this isn't a thing that's coming to an end, okay? This isn't about to come to an end. It's a cycle that just goes over and over and over again. Now, the reason I found that article was interesting because it did talk about September 2015. And as we know, this isn't the first event that talks about this September of 2015. We have several other anomalies that seem to be going on. So I just wanted to throw that in the mix because of the timing and the fact that this article was written several years ago. Very strange. We have the blood moons coming up. So maybe there is something to it that is of significance. Okay? But just remember, what we're looking at is we're living in a physical world. Okay? The physical, solid world, Earth, the world of form. But we have to recognize that the worlds of fire, which is ideas, the world of water, which is emotions, the world of air, which is words and actions. They all exist prior to this world of form. And when we understand the process of how things are made manifest in the world, we can explain it in a way that we understand here in this physical world. If we get an idea, we write it down, and we move towards the progression of that. But what we're doing is we're just describing a process that is the process of life, of nature itself. An idea, fire, ignites something within us, and this fire then has emotions applied to it because we become passionate about it. Once we apply these emotions, we then take actions with the air. So we express it into the world as an action or maybe some words. And from that, it manifests into the physical world. And as we get better and better at this, we are better and better at manifesting. Certainly the ideas of applying faith are very much a part of the process. But when we understand faith is a process of how we bring things into the world, we learn to strengthen it like a muscle. It's not some vague thing that's invisible out there. It's a real thing. And we use this process we call faith to bring in what we want. It's like a valve. As we turn it on, we allow more to flow in. As we turn the faith off, less flows in because we have doubts. You got faith or you have doubts, one of the two. And you got to turn on the valve of faith so you get that flowing through, and there aren't any doubts, and that way you manifest. Because the universe has some basic laws and principles. When you think of a law, don't think of a law like the way we have the laws here on earth of this is the law, and if you break the law, you're going to have a punishment. The laws of the universe are laws simply as in these are the way things work. So this is the law of how this works. And things work very simply. And so when we understand the laws of the universe is we fire, an idea goes out into the world and it manifests in a certain way. That's the law of how things work. So this Krybalion talks about the various laws or principles of the universe. And so as we are learning more about this, that's what we're learning about, the principles or the laws of the universe. And when we understand how they work and we work in accordance with them, we find that things move and are manifest in our lives in a much different way than before because we're understanding more, that's all. It's not brain surgery, it's not difficult, it's something everyone has the ability to learn and understand. Now, as you heard from what I read yesterday in this intro to this, talks about how this wisdom is to be kept private. It's not to be shared with everybody. And as times progress, people have shared it more and more, and here I am sharing it. But I know that in doing so, not everyone is going to be listening to this. Those who need to be tuning in to hear this are going to tune in. I completely believe that to be the case. So I'm not concerned, as I know others who share this aren't concerned as well, because you know that those who are supposed to show up, show up. And so, with that, this is the further information. We're going to move into Chapter 1 now. So you had the summary yesterday. Let's move into Chapter 1. This is the Krybalion. From old Egypt come the fundamentals, esoteric and occult teachings which have been so strongly influenced the philosophers of all races, nations, and peoples for several thousands of years. Egypt, the home of the pyramids and the Sphinx, was the birthplace of the hidden wisdom and the mystic teachings. From her secret doctrine all the nations have borrowed. India, Persia, Chaldea, Media, China, Japan, Assyria, ancient Greece, and Rome, and other ancient countries partook liberally at the feast of knowledge, which the hierophants and the masters of the land of Isis so freely provided for those who came prepared to partake of the great store of mystic occult lore which the masterminds of that ancient land had gathered together. In ancient Egypt dwelt the great adepts and the masters who have never been surpassed and who seldom have been equaled. during the centuries that have taken their processional flight since the days of the great Hermes. In Egypt was located the great lodge of the lodges of the mystics. At the door of her temples entered the neophytes, who afterwards, as hierophants, adepts, and masters, traveled to the four corners of the earth, carrying with them the precious knowledge which they were already anxious and willing to pass on to those who were ready to receive the same. All the students of the occult recognize the debt that they owed to these venerable masters of the ancient land. But among these great masters of ancient Egypt there once dwelt one whom the masters hailed as the master of masters. This man, if man indeed he was, dwelt in Egypt in the earliest days. He was known as Hermes Trismegistus, and he was the father of the occult wisdom, the founder of astrology, the discoverer of alchemy. The details of his life story are lost to history owing to the lapse of the years, though several of his ancient countries disputed with each other in their claims to the honor of having furnished his birthplace, and this thousands of years ago. The date of his sojourn in Egypt, in that his last incarnation on this planet, is not now known, but it has been fixed at the earliest days of the oldest dynasties of Egypt, long before the days of Moses. The best authorities regard him as the contemporary of Abraham, and some of the Jewish traditions go so far as to claim that Abraham himself acquired a portion of his mystic knowledge from Hermes himself. As the years rolled by after his passing from this plane of life, tradition recording that he lived 300 years in the flesh, the Egyptians deified Hermes and made him one of their gods under the name Thoth. Years after, the people of ancient Greece also made him one of their many gods, calling him Hermes, the god of wisdom. The Egyptians revered his memory for many centuries, yes, tens of centuries, calling him the scribe of the gods, and bestowing upon him distinctively his ancient title Trismegistus, which means the thrice great, the great, the greatest great, etc. In all the ancient lands, the name of Hermes Trismegistus was revered, the name being synonymous with the fount of wisdom. Even to this day we use the term hermetic in the sense of secret, sealed so as nothing can escape, etc., and by this reason of the fact that the followers of Hermes always observed the principle of secrecy in their teachings. They did not believe in casting pearls before swine, but rather held to the teaching of milk for babes, meat for strong men, both of which maxims are familiar to readers of the Christian scriptures, but both of which had been used by the Egyptians for centuries before the Christian era. And this policy of careful dissemination of the truth has always characterized the Hermetics, even unto the present day. The Hermetic teachings are to be found in all lands, among all religions, but never identified with any particular country, nor with any particular religious sect. This is because of the warning of the ancient teachers against allowing the secret doctrine to become crystallized into a creed. The wisdom of this caution is apparent to all the students of history. The ancient occultism of India and Persia degenerated and was largely lost owing to the fact that the teachers became priests and so mixed thoroughly with the philosophy, the result being that the occultism of India and Persia has been gradually lost amidst a mass of religious superstition, cults, creeds, and gods. So it was with the ancient Greeks in Rome. So it was with the Hermetic teachings of the Gnostics and the early Christians, which were lost at the time of Constantine, whose iron hand smothered philosophy with the blanket of theology, losing to the Christian Church that which was very essence and spirit, and causing it to grope through several centuries before it found its way back to its ancient faith. The indications apparent to all careful observers in this 20th century being that the Church is now struggling to get back to its ancient mystic teachings. But there were always a few faithful souls who kept alive the flame, tending it carefully and not allowing its light to be extinguished. And thanks to these staunch hearts and fearless minds, we have the truth still within us. But it is not found in books to any great extent. It has been passed along from master to student, from initiate to hierophant, from lip to ear. When it was written down at all, its meaning was veiled in terms of alchemy and astrology, so that only those possessing the key could read it aright. This was made necessary in order to avoid the persecutions of the theologians of the Middle Ages, who fought the secret doctrine with fire and sword, stake, gibbet, and cross. Even to this day there will be found but few reliable books on the Hermetic philosophy, although there are countless references to it in the many books written on various phases of occultism. And yet the Hermetic philosophy is the only master key which will open the door to the occult teachings. In the early days there was a compilation of certain basic Hermetic doctrines passed on from teacher to student, which was known as the Krybalion, the exact significance and meaning of the term having been lost for several centuries. This teaching, however, is known to many to whom it has descended from mouth to ear, on and on throughout the centuries. Its precepts have never been written down or printed so far as we know. It was merely a collection of maxims, axioms, and precepts which were non-understandable to outsiders, but were readily understood by the students after the axioms, maxims, and precepts had been explained and exemplified by the Hermetic initiates to their neophytes. These teachings readily constituted the basic principles of the art of the Hermetic alchemy, which, contrary to the general belief, dealt in the mastery of the mental forces rather than the material elements, the transmutation of one kind of mental vibration into others instead of the changing of one kind of metal into another. The legends of the Philosopher's Stone, which would turn base metal into gold, was an allegory relating to Hermetic philosophy, readily understood by all students of true Hermeticism. In this little book, of which this is the first lesson, we invite our students to examine into the Hermetic teachings as set forth in the Krybalion, and as explained by ourselves, humble students of the teachings, who, while bearing the title of initiates, are still students at the feet of Hermes, the Master. We herein give you many of the maxims, axioms, and precepts of the Krybalion, accompanied by explanations and illustrations which we deem likely to render the teachings more easily comprehended by the modern student, particularly as the original text is purposely veiled in obscure terms. The original maxims, axioms, and precepts of the Krybalion are printed herein in quotation marks, the proper credit being given. Our own work is printed in the regular way, in the body of the work. We trust that the many students to whom we now offer this little work will derive as much benefit from the study of its pages as have many who have gone on before, treating the same path to mastery throughout the centuries that have passed since the time of Hermes Trismegistus, the master of masters, the great, in the words of the Krybalion. Where fall the footsteps of the master, the ears of those ready for his teachings are wide open, the Krybalion. When the ears of the students are ready to hear, then cometh the lips to fill them with wisdom, the Krybalion. So according to the teachings, the passage of this book to those ready for the instruction will attract the attention of such as are prepared to receive the teaching, and likewise, when the pupil is ready to receive the truth, then will this little book come to him or her. Such is the law, the Hermetic principle of cause and effect in its aspect of the law of attraction, which will bring lips and ears together, pupil and book in company, so mote it be. Okay, and these are the 7 principles. We're going to begin discussing them. Let me just give you a little brief analysis, or just of what they are. It says the principles of truth are 7. He who knows these understandably possesses the magic key before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open, the Krybalion. The 7 Hermetic principles upon which the entire Hermetic philosophy is based are these: principle of mentalism, the principle of correspondence, the principle of vibration, the principle of polarity, the principle of rhythm, the principle of cause and effect, and the principle of gender. These 7 principles will be discussed and explained as we proceed with these lessons. A short explanation of each, however, may as well be given at this point. All right, so that's something we'll get into tomorrow. Very important. We're looking to understand energy and how the energy around us operates. It's that simple. Once we understand that, then we have effect on our world as opposed to the world having an effect on us. then we are keying into understanding the deeper aspect of the plan for our lives. Because our lives plan is not just about this physical world. We're here just for a short period of time to effect some sort of a change. Whether we came into this life to simply observe, or whether we came into this life as a volunteer to assist, we are all here to get from point A to point B. And when we learn all the lessons that we're supposed to learn, whether it's from observing or assisting, we will have found ourselves evolving together to something even bigger than this, because we will have understood more. And it all goes back to energy, because everything is energy. And when we look at life in that way, every single day, when we remind ourselves, that's why I sound like a broken record. I just keep saying over and over, because that's the key. When we understand that everything is energy, then we understand how we can affect that energy by simply going to the higher form of it, which is the fire, the water, and the air. And prior to all of that, we have spirit. So when we go to the higher form of what we want to change, we're able to affect the change, because that's just how the universe works. The higher energy impacts upon the lower vibrational energy. All right, so there you go. There's a good start of what's going on. These are the 7 principles. The PDF is here. You can just download it and read it, follow along, and we're going to go over that more in depth. If you have any questions whatsoever, send me an email. Ask me your questions in depth about it. I'll make sure that I address it that way. Put a comment over at the website, over at the YouTube page, Facebook, whatever it is, anything. We want to really examine this in full detail. All right? All right. Moving along, here's an article over at In5D. And this is talking about energy as well and the chakra system. And it's about how to know if our chakras are out of balance. This is by Rashima Patel. There are 7 main energy centers in the body known as chakras. Each chakra is located throughout our body so that it correlates to a specific body ailment and physical dysfunctions. Each energy center also houses our mental and our emotional strengths. When we have a physical issue, it creates a weakness in our emotional behavior. When we release the stale energy from the body, it can undo any tightness, stiffness, or malfunction of those areas. The clearing of the energy can also balance our emotional state of mind. The chakra mind-body balance is a two-way street. If there are certain fears and emotions we are holding on to, we experience physical restrictions too. If you have achiness or stiffness or certain recurring emotions and fears, read along to find out which chakra is affected or blocked. Okay, this is about our energy and how we affect the energy in our physical body. Okay, so think about it this way. Everything around us is energy. We live in a sea of energy. We are vehicles that receive this energy. So as we receive this energy, there has to be a way that we process this energy. We're able to look at things around us and we understand a car moves because you put gas in it. Other vehicles move by electricity, so when you give it a charge, so on and so forth. We understand. We're the same way. So how do we process energy? We have centers within us that process the energy and different levels, not just the physical energy, but the subtle energies of the fire, the water, the air that is flowing through all around us. And that's what we're looking at here. What are these centers in our body that processes the energy? And if we understand what they are, then we can understand how they are affecting us. So if we're in balance or out of balance. Okay? So we have 7 chakras. First one is at the bottom of the spine. It's called the root chakra. At the base of the spine, at your tailbone. Physical imbalances in the root chakra include problems in the legs, feet, rectum, tailbone, immune system, male reproductive parts, prostate gland. Those with imbalances here are also likely to experience issues of degenerative arthritis, knee pain, sciatica, eating disorders, and constipation. Emotional imbalances include feelings affecting our basic survival needs of money, shelter, food, and so on. When this chakra is balanced, you feel supported, a sense of connection, and a safety to the physical world. The lesson of the chakra, self-preservation. We have a right to be here. Second chakra is right at the belly button, the navel. And this deals with the imbalances in the sexual and reproductive issues, urinary problems, kidney issues, hip, pelvic, low back pain. And this is all about our emotions. Emotional imbalances include our commitments to relationships, our ability to express emotions, ability to have fun, play on our desires, creativity. When the chakra is balanced, we have the ability to take risks. We are creative, we are committed, we are passionate, sexual, and outgoing. The lesson of this chakra is to honor others. The solar plexus chakra, located 3 inches above the navel, this is digestive problems, liver dysfunction, chronic fatigue, high blood pressure, diabetes, stomach ulcers, pancreas, gallbladder issues. Emotional imbalances include issues of personal power, self-esteem, the inner critic. When it's balanced, we feel self-respect, compassion, in control, assertive, and confident. The heart chakra, right at the heart. Physical imbalances can be asthma, heart disease, lung disease, issues with breast, lymphatic system, upper back, shoulder problems, arm, wrist. Emotional balances include issues of the heart, overloving to the point of suffocation, jealousy, abandonment, anger, bitterness. When it's in balance, we feel joy, gratitude, love, compassion, forgiveness flows freely, trust is gained. The lesson of the 5th chakra is I love. 4th chakra is I love. 5th chakra is the throat chakra, located at the throat. This can be thyroid issues if there's problems and imbalance, sore throats, laryngitis, TMG, ear infections, ulcers, facial problems. Emotional imbalances include issues of self-expression through communication, spoken or written, fear and no power or choice. But when it's balanced, we feel our free flow of words, expression, communication. The lesson is to speak up and let our voice be heard. The 3rd eye chakra in the middle between the eyebrows. This can be imbalance, can be headaches, blurred vision, sinus problems, eye strain. Others can be moodiness, volatility, self-reflection, ability to look at one's own fears. But when it's in balance, we feel clear, focused. We can determine between truth and illusion. The lesson is to see the big picture. And the 7th or crown chakra at the top of the head, imbalances can cause depression, inability to learn, sensitivity to light, sound, environment. Physical issues, emotional issues can cause issues with self-knowledge, greater power, rigid thoughts. When it's in balance, we live in the present moment. We have an unshakable trust in our inner guidance. The lesson of this chakra is to live mindfully. After reading this, you, like me, may feel that more than one chakra is imbalanced or blocked. This is because when one is blocked, the other chakras begin to compensate and either become overactive or underactive. Okay, so that's a good summary. Just remember, it's energy. So when we're all in balance, everything works smoothly. When something's out of balance, something has to work harder to compensate for it. It's that simple. So as we do the meditation today, I'm going to go over each one of the chakras. We're going to start at the root chakra. We're going to work our way up, and I'm going to go over all the colors. It's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and then white. Okay? Each one of the chakras and the areas. So that's what we're going to do in the meditation. But before we get to that point, we've got a couple other things here. First is the message today comes to us from the Council. Here we go. The Council.
The Council.
August 17th, 2015. Channeled by Runhead.
The Council.
We wish to revisit today our past discussions of a topic. We have spoken often of your consciousness. Today we would introduce a few ways of viewing this extremely important subject that you have perhaps not considered before. As has been said before, the beginning may be a good place to start. Let's begin with everything that exists. Everything that exists is energy, is frequency. All energy is conscious. It contains information. It creates. You have various terms and understandings for this. You tend to believe that your term and understanding must be the only correct one, but that is another topic. You also tend to personify this source. That is also another discussion in itself. Have you taken the next obvious step in your thinking? If it is all energy, and it is all conscious, then everything you can see around you is to some degree conscious. All that is conscious. That is. Therefore that is conscious. We have previously told this channel that there are further things that can be intuited from this. For instance, if everything is one field of consciousness including oneself, and if one is unaware of what is being held in the consciousness of what one is looking at, then what one is looking at is in what you term your subconscious. Also, consider that if it is in the conscious field but unknown to your awareness, then it is possible for you to become aware of it. Does this not open up a whole new universe of possibilities to you? All of the things that you considered impossible, or possible only to others, beyond your capability and magical, just become as normal as walking and talking when you view your mind in this way. Now, everyone is not a mechanic, or a physicist, or a mathematician. Neither will everyone express themselves in the same ways in conscious abilities of perception and communication. Nor will everyone be moving things around with only their will and focus. But this is not for lack of capability so much as differences in need, experience, and focus. Farmers have little need of string theory, do you see? But physicists do not usually know much about soil composition either. So on another note, please do not continue to judge one as being above another. Both are needed. So, back to our subject, look around you right now, and realize that everything you are seeing is conscious energy, expressing itself temporarily as the things you are looking at. It is solid, if that is what you are looking at, because you perceive it as solid. You are solid because you agree to be solid. And no, we are not saying that you can terminate that agreement abruptly. So please continue to be solid for the moment. But we hope to be giving you entirely new things to consider regarding your reality. Reality is what it is, yes. But perhaps your human understandings of what that is are not as accurate as you think. Now consider this. To some extent your perceptions influence the entire world around you. You may understand that you influence your immediate surroundings far more than what is far removed from you. But that also means that your ability to change what is in your life at a particular time is something that you can have an effect upon. It means you are not a helpless victim of circumstance. Of course, if you feel the need to be a helpless victim, you are free to do so. But in taking ownership of the power of your thoughts and feelings to influence your world, you will begin to learn who you are. You will begin to understand why you are. You will begin to see what your place is meant to be in this grand scheme of things that you love to make reference to. There are many things that you frequently express the desire to have and to do. But we wish to tell you this day that until you claim for yourself that you are the one whom we tell you that you are, you will not find within yourself the power to have and to do those things. You have been carefully taught that those abilities are not human abilities. We tell you that they certainly are. Many consider these things to be divine in nature. And we say that you are correct. And you may claim them. And since you are now thinking in new ways, what does that mean? Who are you? What, after all, does the word ascension mean to you? Ponder that. What does it mean and why would it be possible? And it is possible. Go for it. We're saving you a seat.
Alright, nice message. Very good message. Again, beginning, what did it start off with? Started off with saying that everything is energy, right? That's what this is all about. It's all energy. It's the continual message over and over and over again. Alright, here's the Warrior of the Light, page 87 for today. The friends of the Warrior of Light ask him where he draws his energy from. He says, from the hidden enemy. His friends ask who that is. The warrior responds, someone we can no longer hunt. It might be a boy who beat him in childhood scrap, the girlfriend who left him when he was 11, the teacher who said he was stupid. When he is tired, the warrior reminds himself of these enemies that have still not seen his courage. He does not consider revenge because the hidden enemy is no longer part of a story. He thinks only of improving his skill so that his deeds will be known throughout the world and to reach the ears of those who have heard him in the past. Yesterday's pain is the Warrior of Light's strength. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. and exhale. Take another deep breath and exhale. Another deep breath and exhale. Now, imagine that you are seated on the beach and you're facing the ocean or the lake, whichever body of water you understand the best. And as you look out, you see the waves going back and forth slowly. And as you watch the waves, you feel relaxed. And as you watch the waves, you feel in synchronicity with their rhythm. And you just breathe and move in rhythm with the ocean, with the waves. Now imagine at the bottom of your spine, right at the end of the tailbone, there is an energy center. And this is your root chakra that draws the energy from the earth. And the color of this is red. So you imagine this center just drawing the energy from the earth. And feel the grounding feeling of this energy at this lower chakra. And then feel the energy move up from that lower chakra by the tailbone, move it up higher, and you feel the energy as it reaches the belly button, and there the color becomes orange. And here is the center of our emotions, the emotional chakra. And we feel the energy flowing through there. Imagine all of our emotions balancing out. And the energy raises up higher just below the rib cage to the solar plexus. And there is the chakra of our mental body. The color of this chakra is yellow. And we imagine balance within this chakra and feeling the balance within our body, within our mental body. And we raise this energy up higher to the heart. And the color of the heart chakra is green, and this is our center of love. And we imagine this chakra balancing out its energy, and we feel balanced as well. And then the energy moves up higher to the throat, and there the chakra is blue. And this is our center of communication. So feel our communication becoming balanced with this chakra. And then the energy moves up higher from the throat to the third eye, right between the two eyebrows. This is the center of how we see through dimensions of space and time. And the color of this chakra is indigo. The color that is between blue and violet. And the light continues to move on to the crown chakra, where it is the color violet. And we draw in the energy here from the cosmos. And we feel the clarity as this chakra is balanced, and the light continues on up, turning to bright white light as it connects deep into the cosmos. And we feel our connection to that which is above and that which is below. And as we are balanced within all of this, we find ourselves moving through life balanced as well. So as we go through the world today, let's just focus on our energy, the energy that flows within us, and the energy that flows around us, that we move around within. And let us just be aware of this and find our balance as we move through the world today. So let the subconscious mind continue on that journey of balance. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. And that's it, my friends. That is our show for today. Thank you for being here. I'll be back tomorrow. Have an awesome day. Go back. There's plenty to read today to catch up on. Read through it. Keep the information fresh. And I'll be back tomorrow. We'll continue on from where we left off today. Have an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other. Talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.